Hello, my name is Chris Bennett. This is a message to Danny Trejo. I met you a couple years ago, and I'm following up. So, I met you and I gave you information about my own mission and Paris Hilton's mission about freeing kids that are in bad psych facilities getting abused. So, I'm following up now. I've been working on the same issue for 20 years. 20 years ago, I met Bar McClellan. His two sons were in the White House, Dr. Mark McClellan and Scott McClellan. Scott was the press secretary, and Dr. Mark McClellan was running the FDA and then Medicare and Medicaid. So I got my dad's book in there, which is all about getting people healthy. In 12 weeks, you can control your high blood pressure without drugs. So it was right after 9/11, which everybody's blood pressure went up. But unfortunately, they slammed the door. Okay, but I've been persisting over the last 20 years to try to get information which can heal our country and the world to them. And that's what I delivered to you. So I'm inviting you to join a special series of events with some interesting people that are on a similar mission as yours is. So what I read in your book, this awesome book, is about you have tried to help a lot of people who are getting out of prison to heal. And you made a point in here, you know, if your uncle, who spent 30 years in San Quentin, had only gotten some help, then, you know, everything would have been different. Little hyperactive Gilbert, you said. So this is a very, you know, sensitive issue for me. My grandfather was in San Quentin too. Wow, 100 years ago under Prohibition. My family was really rich with, maybe not really rich, but very successful building gigantic beer, kegs, the Decabox. And in Cincinnati, Ohio, there's a gigantic statue of one of them there. And, but Prohibition came along, let's throw everybody in jail if they're gonna have a beer, or if they're gonna make beer. So something that's been around since the Bible, time of the Bible, let's throw 100,000 people in new jails. Total insanity, it's gotta stop. It's still going on. It's worse than ever. So what I learned is things were really, really bad 100 years ago. They're still really, really bad. And so that's not therapeutic at all. So I'm inviting you to get together with a bunch of people. This right here is a poster I put together 30 years ago. Chuck Norris is on it. I went to kindergarten through 12th grade with them, with his kids, Mike and Eric. And I've been inviting them over the last 10 years, and we could have helped Chuck get healthy, but I didn't know he had a heart attack 9 years ago. So it's a critical thing. We're all getting sick from stress overload, and then we're not getting the right treatment. But if we stand together, we can talk about these things. But unfortunately, there's something weird going on because people don't want us to get together and talk. We got to find out what's going on there. There's this background thing going on. A friend of Gigi, I'm inviting Gigi and Bella Hadid and Paris Hilton, I already told you. Okay, because they're on a similar mission to help the world heal and deal with these problems. So I'm calling it a Summit of Peacemakers. 20 years ago, Ed Asner joined it through my friend David Wilson, who was in a TV show with him. And so that's the thing that we're pulling together. It was the idea of just getting together and talking about some of these problems, just to simply talk. Because it's not happening on television. I've been trying to get into television for 20 years. My partner, who knows Tracy Reiner really well, tried with Tracy Reiner over 10 years ago, got it all the way up at the top at ABC, CBS, and NBC. They said yes, and then boom, shut it down. So just to talk about what's making everybody sick. Stress overload from war after war after war. Millions of kids are going hungry. People are not getting the help they need. Call the police if somebody's having a domestic violence problem instead of getting free mental health care. It's totally insane. So by getting together just to talk about it, it's totally insane. We could change the world. That's why they don't want you to talk. So Taylor Swift started standing up and talking about it. Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid and her ex-husband, Zayn, started talking about Palestine. And then within this network, all of a sudden, their stalker load went up by 5,000%. Okay, 1 to 10. Okay, I'm wondering what the hell is going on here. So, just a month after I contacted you with the most important information of all time, that millions of kids are going hungry and they're getting amphetamines, which is stress in a pill, then you got attacked at a parade. I thought that was pretty strange. Do you know this weirdo named Jay West? He's probably the nicest guy in the world to you, but red flag. I've been begging and pleading him to help me for over a year with, you know, this is how you can tell the people that are good versus the people that have a hard heart and they need a wake up. They need healing. So that's what I took to you as the cure. And I'm talking about in my other video that I made for Taylor Swift and her friends, the Hadids. So I discovered the underlying cause of the problem. And you're cured. So you don't have an empathy deficit. You're cured. But most of the people and the people in the White House have a severe problem. Empathy deficit. They got a heart like a rock. Just think of Taylor Swift's song, Mean. That's the most important song of all time. Why you gotta be so mean? Somebody must have pushed you down and made you small. But the cycle ends right now, because you can't lead me down that road and you don't know what you don't know. Okay, so the cure, that's what I found out. And all the experts from the best universities. Okay, and I don't have any of the books right here. But Zachary Levi, okay, Kevin Smith, he knows the cure. So he started talking about it. My friend ran into him 3 days ago, my partner, my co-producer, Carlos. Give him a call. So, let's see. Yeah, Kevin Smith, he did a video about it, all about post-traumatic stress a year ago, and now he wants to share with the whole world. So that's why I've been trying to reach him. Okay? Zachary Levi, he knows the cure. I sent a bunch of books on the cure to him. He's got 60-acre ranch. Okay, your nieces, I gave them the cure over 10 years ago. The same thing that I gave you. I tried to get their help. Okay, so unfortunately, I got a little irritated when they said no. My mom said no, and I got a little irritated on the phone. So I hope it wasn't that bad for them. But I didn't really have total control over my emotions at that point, and I had drinking a lot of coffee that day. So I apologize terribly that I got upset. Okay, but anyway, I saw them I was living in Austin, working with the Willie Nelson World Peace Foundation, which they're on a mission to heal the world and create world peace. And I got to know them, got to know Willie Nelson's brother-in-law, who I'm sure you know, Kenny Koepke. I gave him a copy of my dad's book. In 12 weeks, you can control your high blood pressure without drugs. My father was a professor of medicine at UCLA for 35 years. So I ran into the two girls at the Starbucks, and they shared with me that I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who Robert Rodriguez were. Somehow I told them ADHD has the same symptoms as PTSD, and they said, well, we have ADHD. And so I said, wow, well, let me give you this chart. And then I said, they told me who their mom was, and I said, wow, can you tell them about my project? I want to inform the whole world so that kids can get the right help they need. I just testified to the Texas State Senate with the same information. So that's how long I've been working on it. Recently I found out that their parents were going through a divorce. There was big problems. So that's not ADHD, that's stress. So, but there's something strange going on here with all these agents and managers. Do you know anything about this? Because I've been trying to work with these people, you know, like you, and every time I'm about to work with them, like, something happens. And so I'm bringing this message to you to ask for your help to guide us to how do you work with the agents and managers. So you must know Michael Sutton. So Michael Sutton's father was working with Lou Rawls, Ricky Nelson, and right here he says he was just up and coming here. Neil Diamond. I got a call from a friend at William Morris Agency one day back in the 1950s. My mom was a super musician, she still is. She was in prime time and she played in Las Vegas for a month, the headline act, playing marimba. And she played multiple things and danced and sang. So she had 2 William Morris agents back then. Unfortunately, they died in a plane crash. So I got a call from a friend at William Morris one day, and he told me 2 guys from New York wanted to meet me at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I agreed. I loved the Polo Lounge bar in the hotel and felt real Hollywood whenever I was there. The 2 guys I met, I never wanted to see again in my life. I was informed that they were the ones who really managed one of my artists, and what was I doing with their boys? Their boy. I told them in all honesty that I was unaware of any past commitments to other managers and by any of my clients, and asked what we could do to resolve the problem. They had an easy solution. We would become partners. I would do all the work and they would get half the money. Mafia kept spinning through my brain. And they asked how my wife and kids were feeling. Once in, never get out. No way for me to get free, not in this lifetime. I had a friend in the record business who used to be a hitman for LA's #1 gangster. No problem, he told me. If he asked a favor, #1 on my behalf, even if you're getting the favor, it's my debt. In a few days, I got a call from one of my East Coast friends. He told me, William Morris, he told me how wrong I had been in my evaluation of what he wanted from me. He told me there was no problem between us and that I would never be in trouble again, no matter where in the world you are. Okay, so I've been trying to work with these celebrities, and I tried to work with you, and then this attack happened, and it was really weird the way it happened. You're driving along in a parade with Hispanics that all love you. They're all Hispanic, and then a Hispanic throws a water balloon at you, and then you jump out, and then boom, they start attacking you. So I don't know, but it's worth understanding, and there's a larger picture. So I believe, actually, I do know what's going on. So let me say one last thing, and I need your help getting this information to Paris Hilton. So it's super, super, super critical. It's like a frickin' emergency, and only you know how to interpret this information. And so, where do I have it? I know I don't have it here. No, I don't have it here. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you about it because I have it and I can show you in person. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to your restaurant. I'm going to show it to you in person. So, Paris was held in this facility for a year. The same facility, Casa del Mar. My dad brought on the investor. My dad was the founding medical director of the Pritikin Longevity Center back in the 1970s. He brought in the investor, and they bought a hotel in Santa Monica Beach where Sea-Doo had been operating, a cult where they abused people. The FBI had broken them up. So my dad got targeted by the same group that later targeted Paris Hilton and abused her for 2 years. So Sea-Doo, they got broken up by the FBI, and my dad bought their building and turned it into the Pritikin Longevity Center. They broke up and they created Synanon. Synanon was the first one that broke up, and then it became Sea-Doo, and then Sea-Doo is where Paris Hilton went, got stuck, getting abused for a year. And then she went to another one for a year. Okay, it's these camps. So the same group targeted my dad 30 years ago, and I've got it in his calendar from 1977 and 1978. because my dad was teaming up with Pritikin, who had the cure for most illnesses. My dad found that you could exercise, eat right, and reduce your stress and bring your blood pressure down and your high cholesterol and your high blood sugar back in the 1970s. And then this group targeted him, and then he met 5 gorgeous women. The first one broke up his marriage when I was 10 years old, Beverly. The second one was really beautiful, Vera. She had a friend of hers go and meet my mother at the library up in Palos Verdes. Then say to her son, John, go meet Chris. So he came and met me, became my friend. Then later they invited us to camp. We went to a camp down in San Diego called Army and Navy Military Academy for boys. Just Google it. 30 years later, multiple people have come forward to say they were severely sexually abused by the headmaster and multiple other people there, and they've sued. The headmaster was a Vietnam veteran who moved fuel over to Vietnam. So, 40 years later, I still know John. His sister, Charlotte Barrent, is a high-up attorney at the New York Times. You can Google it. She's on the International Rescue Committee with Tim Geithner, the head of the Federal Reserve, and then the head of BlackRock. BlackRock. They own the world. They're trillionaires. They own every single company. They own all the media. They own all the production companies. They own all the utility companies that keep burning things down. They own Boeing. So that's the last thing I'll leave you with. Starlite's the most important invention of all time. I'm inviting you to be a part owner. I've been working on it for 30 years with NASA and Boeing. It's a fireproof material. It could protect all those celebrity homes from fires. So I'm inviting you to be a part owner, and these celebrities that are good, that want to get the whole world's attention for how to heal the world. The prisons need to be radically changed and all those people healed and get out of there. They can be healed. All the experts on violence who I've been putting together and inviting to this say violence can be cured because it's a symptom of PTSD. So Bella Hadid, who I talked about in my other video and I'm inviting, she talked about generational trauma. Shad Mashad is one of the creators of the concept of post-traumatic stress. I invited him. He's at the LA airport with the National Veterans Foundation. He's a Vietnam veteran. On the board of directors is Oliver Stone and Martin Sheen. I've invited all these people. I talked to Shad over a year ago and invited him before the Rob Reiner murder. Okay? So invited him to talk about the cure for the schizophrenia caused by post-traumatic stress. He agreed. His colleagues, Dr. Figley at Tulane University, I've been in contact with him since 2003. I flew out to Florida, I met him, and he signed my book, which has a cure. He signed his book. Excuse me, I'm getting flustered, and the sun's about to go down, so we're running out of light. All right? Together we can do this. Together we can do this. All right? This is not Nazi Germany. My friend, since 2000, I met him in 2000, he died a few years later, Chaplain George Russell Barber, he was the last living chaplain who landed on Normandy Beach on D-Day. He signed this book right here. So he had a much harder job. All we got to do is have a tea party. And I talked about it in the video to Paris Hilton. I invited her and Bella and Gigi Hadid, who want to talk about Palestine and how we can have peace in the Middle East. That's what we want to do. Who would be against that? Who would be against that? We want to find out. We'll invite all of them. So, anyway, Chaplain Barber gave me his card back then. He was a friend of Billy Graham and Robert Schuller. He introduced me to both of them. He used to pass his card out to everybody. I used to take him around to events. And one day we came out at an event, and there was this guy who came to get his car, bring his car, the chauffeur, the valet. Chaplain Barber gave him his card, and on the back, it says right here, hope, food, water, health, shelter, education, peace, security, freedom for the world. That was his mission, and that was the mission of Jesus Christ. That's what God wants. Hope, love, happiness, food, water, shelter, education. That's what everybody needs and wants. So Chaplain Barber said, the guy looked at it, Chaplain Barber gave him the card, and he looked at it and he said, what's missing on here is love. So Chaplain Barber went home and he added that, and this is the card, okay? So love. Here's the news. The reason why, Taylor Swift has some of the best songs in the world. The Fate of Ophelia, about a woman who just keeps meeting these poisonous men. Okay, the truth is, most of them are having that problem, almost every single one, because they're broken, they're traumatized, they have a hard heart, and they can put on a happy face, but the truth is inside of them, and so they need healing. So Taylor Swift is getting married, and you know what? Whether or not, whatever state he's in, he needs the cure too. Everybody needs the cure. We all do. Okay, so I'm sure he's fantastic, but we all need the cure. So that's what this is about. We're just going to get together and talk about the cure. And you know it because you're a good person. I can tell you know it. And you're a religious person, you're a Christian person too, probably. And the cure is in this book here. So it's called The Mission. It's called the Summit of Peacemakers, a Summit of Peacemakers. And we're just going to get together to talk about how to heal the world. The mission is to heal the world, and we're going to get together in a series of events at the Palazzo di Amor, this beautiful empty mansion up in Beverly Hills. Michael Sutton knows the owner. I've been talking to Michael Sutton about being part of it. So there's a few red flags about him. He hasn't been just sharing this information with his friends, and he won't call me back. Okay, but he may have a hard heart problem. Okay, there's people that you can't stop from talking. People can't stop me from talking. People can't stop Paris Hilton or Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid from talking about peace in the Middle East, or Taylor Swift. She wants to be heard by the whole world about how to stop violence. That's her mission. She said it in Miss Americana, her movie. That's her mission. She wants to win at that mission. She doesn't want to just get Marsha Blackburn kicked out. I need to warn Paris Hilton, Marsha Blackburn, in 2006, there was a big hearing in Congress 20 years ago about all this, the homes for kids where they're getting abused, and George Miller ran it, and they acknowledged the problem, and Marsha Blackburn voted to not fix it. So these people have had 20 years kicking the idea around, and now she's working with our leaders, the multiple Congress people who also voted on that bill, and we're on the wrong side. So they're never going to do anything, and she thinks they are, unfortunately. So we need your help to communicate with her. All right? It's not fair that all of you are puppets, maybe to the mafia. It's not fair. It's not right. That's no way to live. And then when you want to get together, they all sit around and say, no, no, no. So we can do it. We're all out here. We're free. We're not sitting in a prison. What do you think? If we agree to do it, all of us, what are they going to do? Call us and say we're going to kill you? Oh, we're all going to die from stress. We're all dying 30, 40 years early. I see all my peers, they're just going downhill. Okay, that's it. It's a matter of life and death, man. Let's do it.